Old Lara. New Lara. Old Lara.
Well, you have my total attention now. I'm not quite sure if I've got yours, though. Hello?
New Lara.
This isn't over. Bastard!
Old Lara.
From this moment, your every breath is a gift from me.
New Lara.
I can't believe this. You come.
Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive.
If you enjoyed Crystal Dynamics' 2013 reboot of the Tomb Raider series, then I have some good news, some bad news, and some worse news regarding Rise of the Tomb Raider. The good news is that this sequel is the exact same game in almost every conceivable way. The bad news is that this is the exact same game in almost every conceivable way. The worst news is that everything that's different about Rise of the Tomb Raider is considerably worse than what's come before. Take the game's title for instance. It's awful, yeah, but what does it actually mean? Surely this title suggests that the series' iconic hero Lara Croft will have some sort of satisfying character arc, growing, changing and becoming more like the intelligent archaeologist Lara that we know from the old games. Spoiler, this doesn't happen at all, but she does call someone a and then tell them to fuck off, so at least there's that I suppose.
No fucking way!
Starkly contrasting to the crew of the Endurance from Tomb Raider, all with different motives and motivations, the supporting cast in this game are pure black and white, good versus evil, with no nuance whatsoever. Lara's allies in the game are defending something called the Divine Source, which can grant eternal life, and the baddies are Trinity, an evil military organisation willing to murder everyone to get to it. The only character with anything remotely intriguing going on is a retconned version of Lara's dad. He was researching the Divine Source but was put to shame by the archaeological community because they said it didn't exist, despite Lara and Trinity knowing exactly where it is without any real challenge. On the other hand, there's the most underdeveloped character in history, Jonah, returning from the previous game. Lara is separated from him at the beginning of the game, and he isn't mentioned once until near the end when he magically knows Lara's new radio frequency and calls. He then gets captured and stabbed, and the player's meant to care despite zero effort for character development. Poor writing. There are also plot twists and multiple points in the story. All of them can be seen coming a mile away, and not one of them was actually built up to in an adequate or clever way. Terrible voice acting is universal in this game. Even Camilla Luddington as Lara is cringeworthy at times, seemingly trying to act even more posh than she already is.
The lost city's up there, somewhere.
The worst are the documents found throughout the world, which are mostly journals from Mongolian, Greek or Russian people with inexplicable American accents.
My lord, what you say is impossible. I myself drove a spear into the prophet's heart. I saw him die. Doubtless his people have propped another man up in the slain prophet's robe to continue his lies.
In fact, none of the history in Rise of the Tomb Raider is treated with any sort of reverence. It's something which Assassin's Creed has done reasonably well, and something Tomb Raider needs to do even better. For example, I was dying to know about why these different tribes from Greece and Mongolia were travelling through this region, and why the conflicts arose in the time period in question. I'm sure the old Lara would have been just as fascinated with it all as I am, but new Lara? She's too busy fighting a fucking bear. The game starts with one of those trendy flash-forwards where you play through a bit of the game, then it sends you back to the actual beginning. The section in question is from the boring E3 trailer, and it's almost as boring playing through it. No matter how many times Lara slips on a crumbling ledge or some ice falls from under your feet, it's never going to be as intense as the creators want it to be. Not when you know if you just keep moving along this linear path, nothing will actually make you fall to your death. Compare this to the old Tomb Raider games where bad timing or letting go of X at the wrong moment was going to send you back to the previous save point. It was far more challenging and far more fun. If anything, missing a jump in this game is far more frustrating, because it's the game's fault for glitching out and not magnetising you to the ledge like it usually does. Remember also from E3 how Brian Horton said,
"Because Tomb Raider is all about Lara and her journey, we always want to make her feel as human and believable as possible."
Well, we've already established that he could not have possibly been referring to Lara's character. What about Lara's physical capabilities, beyond levitating across chasms? I played Rise of the Tomb Raider on the hardest difficulty level, and it was piss easy. Not only can Lara withstand a fair few hits, she has the ability to heal herself in less than 2 seconds whilst under fire, and I never ran out of healing items once. The game also gives you a massive amount of ways to one-hit kill enemies, which includes the poison gas arrows you get right at the start of the game and can easily craft more of. Once you get the death from above perk, meaning you can insta-kill any enemy below you, the sheer speed and efficiency Lara can take these guys out makes it an absolute bloodbath. I'm seriously surprised these highly trained military operatives aren't running away from this woman screaming. There is stealth in the game, but of course it's broken. If enemies get suspicious, they head straight in your direction, whether they should know you're there or not. Once you've been spotted, there's no way to hide again, you have to shoot it out. I must say that having such a variety of ways to take out enemies is fun at its core. You can pick up bottles to craft molotovs or smoke grenades, try stealth, or try out the nice array of upgradable guns. But after doing the same thing for hours without any challenge to it, it got tedious. Plus, why do any of these things when you can shotgun the hell out of them and heal when needed? Crystal Dynamics were so lazy that they reused the idea of the Immortal Army from Tomb Raider 2013. Remember the armoured samurai warriors with more health than a regular enemy, who would run up to you and use melee attacks? These Greek ones function the exact same way, except the story behind them is less interesting and barely explored. The best thing about the game by far are the optional puzzles mainly found in tombs. Not only are these usually the most visually stunning areas, well, let's be fair, the entire game is absolutely gorgeous graphically, but they also allow the player to use their brain a bit. Some puzzles are more contrived than others, but I found ones not involving any of the game's boring linear climbing were the best. One, for example, had me guiding flammable barrels down a river, tethering them where necessary to stop them coming in contact with fire. Let's talk about the soundtrack by Bobby Tahiri, whose one goal seemed to be to create something even more obnoxious and intrusive than Jason Graves' previous work on the series. Everything is constant drums, brass swells and ostinato strings pumping away. Even when in the game's many optional puzzle tombs, which are meant to be the game's downtime, it's still just pumping away. I'm sure the only melody that exists in this game is the one that Jason Graves created for Tomb Raider 2013, and it is now being used for every action Lara takes in the open world, lighting campfires, opening chests. The chill down my spine that came from discovering a secret in the old games and hearing that vibraphone glissando is replaced with either that melody or a single note played on a hang drum. Hey Crystal Dynamics, I've got a great idea. Why don't I be the composer on your next game, Tomb Raider Rising Revengeance? And the good news is I've already composed the theme for Finding Secrets. Are you ready? Wasn't that great? I could go into more detail about some of the open world aspects of the game, which at their core are quite fun. Hunting, finding artifacts, levelling up and unlocking perks, but as I've said, it's all the same as before. I enjoyed Tomb Raider 2013 immensely. It felt like the story had real stakes, and characters other than Lara had agency within that story. I also loved the setting and the horror elements which hadn't been explored previously in the series and aren't in this game either. I've played Tomb Raider 2013. If I want to play it again, I will do. Oh, and shove your deals with Microsoft up your ass, you cunt.